Hello and welcome back to the State of My Art podcast. Happy Easter if you celebrate Easter, or if you're checking this out in April. If you're not, happy whatever time of the year it is. I'm your host, Mike Liorti. Episode 30. We're already at over halfway through the year of this podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking these out. On this episode, I have my good friends Jesse Eisenbarth and Nick Lanari. Nick is in my band, and Jesse Eisenbarth is a fellow musician who I met a long time ago down here in San Diego, and he's kind of from Bakersfield. I had him on, I think, episode 10 or so. So it's great to have another guest back on the show for kind of a part two and kind of a co-host session with another bandmate, Nick Lanari. I'm sure you'll see him on the show some more as well. So let's get to it. My conversation with Jesse and Nick happened on March 30th, 2021. All right, boys, we're really doing it.
Really doing it.
Welcome to the State of My Art podcast, episode 30, here at the Sharp School of Music and Studio. Here with Jesse and Nick Lanari. Jesse's already been on the show.
That was really fun. Thank you for having me on that one.
Yeah, thanks for zooming in and getting me all those files. And
now we're in person. It's great.
Yeah, it's great to be back down here with the boys, with the crew. I have a 30-minute limit. I forgot to tell you guys. So
the camera, right?
There's going to be an alarm. Yeah, you know the drill.
All right.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Usually I have guests on that I'm like promoting stuff for, but I guess we're promoting your new shirt.
Yeah, I really like it. It goes with the music video too.
Are these for sale yet?
They should be by this time this comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's coming out this Sunday.
Possibly.
Well, thanks for bringing me one.
I'm going to put it in my description on my Instagram. The link to the page. The store is up, but I'm not sure if those are up yet or if they're going to be up in a certain, but yeah.
Who made them again?
My friend Ramona in Texas.
Ramona, that's right. Yeah. Shout out Ramona.
Woohoo!
Ramona Flowers.
Yeah. Rebellious Studios.
Nice.
Rebellious Studios, yeah. Rebellious Soul Studios. Something like that. Variation of those.
Cool.
Letters, yeah.
I love that you're on the shirt. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice that.
Is that the first shirt that you're on of yours?
I think so, yeah. My first feature.
That's awesome. It's perfect.
I asked if I could have those, like, you know, I wanted the piece in the rock and roll, but I got the double rock and roll, so that's like, I mean, that's when trouble's happening, when you're getting sucked up to a unknown.
Nice. Yeah, they're on the moon. You were on the moon and you're getting abducted.
Is it the moon? There's the moon in the picture that's blowing.
Oh, yeah, there's two moons.
And then, oh my gosh, is this Star Wars?
Or maybe that's Mars, and those are Martians.
Maybe he's on Mars, and
that's one of the
moons. That's no moon.
Moons.
It's a space station.
It's a Death Star.
I dig it.
Yeah, I was really excited for how it came out. I was impressed. She's always done like really good work.
I love that color. Awesome.
Yeah, surf green. Mint
it's her
green.
choice. And then I got this
cream.
one. If you guys, it's ash. It's got a little gray in it.
Yeah, it's like a heather gray.
Yeah.
Sweet. So what else you been up to, man? Are you still living at Adam's studio?
No. I've been with my grandparents since I got back to San Diego a couple years ago.
Cool.
But I'm going to be moving out pretty soon. My grandparents are not doing the best, and it's like almost like a, you know, I can't get my work done kind of thing because they have, you know, needs. And so I'm trying to find a new place, and there's nurses coming in all the time, and it's a tough time. So I haven't really got a lot done, but I am working on a few things. So that's been good to think about.
Right on.
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered getting a van and a trailer?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Volkswagen bus would be the best.
Oh, that's even better for sure. I know a guy who could tell you a few things about that sort of life.
I've just been told they're not reliable and they're hard to fix and all the things wrong with them, but they're so cool.
Just get like a used Sprinter van that can get, like, as long as you can get a couple 100 miles out of it.
Yeah. I've seen those decked out to be like sleepers, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. And being a stagehand, you can, you kind of almost have to have one of those too sometimes.
We saw an awesome RV at Prince Park yesterday that was just parked out there. Yeah. They had kids.
Yeah, and it's there all the time.
Little barbecues out front and stuff. And
they were probably there long before we got there. It looked like they were there all day. Yeah. Perfect park spot.
I haven't been camping in a while. Do you guys like camping?
I'd love to go camping.
I think of tour as camping.
Yeah.
It's like my camping for
That's probably the last time we went camping is at Joshua Fest. That was a big camp fest.
Nice.
I get my camping fill from tour. But yeah, I mean, no, I like it. It's fun.
Adam and I sometimes go up to Mount Laguna. You've been up there? And that's just like hopping a skip from here.
Nice.
And just spend a night up there and just go hiking and under the stars.
Fun.
Yeah.
Do you snowboard, Jesse?
I've sledded. No, I wish I did. I wish I surfed too, but no, I've only skateboarded, and I stopped that and played guitar instead because I fell on my face. And then you?
That's one of the reasons I went full on music. I got injured too bad skateboarding. My knee popped in and it was bloody. And I was like, in that moment, it wasn't like, this pain is excruciating. It was, you know what? Maybe I'll just be like my drummer and not skate and just do music.
Yeah.
That's literally what I thought.
A little safer. If I fall on stage and break a leg,
I was the opposite. I was
probably
like, there's no way I'm going to be good enough to do music, so I better skate because it's really fun.
Nick is gnarly at skating.
Not really.
No. Yeah, you are.
You're really good, dude.
No.
Yeah. Thanks. I love it.
You just did you ever have a crazy injury then?
Oh, I've had concussions, fractured arm. Yeah. But, I mean,
it's worth it.
You got to pay to play.
Would you guys want to surf if I ever went surfing?
I want to learn, yeah.
I'd be down.
You guys don't know how to surf?
No.
We should get surf lessons. That'd be so rad. Got to go together.
I'd be down, yeah.
Crew. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we snowboard. We do, and it's... Yeah. We went last year, not this year, but it was fun. Wait, did we even go? Was it 2 years ago or last year?
I think it was last...
2020, really?
No.
In March?
No, we didn't go in 2020. Maybe.
It seems like it was only last year.
Maybe we made it February. We had to have.
Yeah, it had to, because Jordo.
Because Jordo, and we wrote that one song on the trip.
Oh, yeah.
So it was last year.
Right, yeah, it had to have been. That's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like every time I go snowboarding, since it's been like a whole like 12 months since the last time, I always like have to go super hard. I'm like, oh, you're like all pent up and like frothing, and then I get super like wiped out.
Plus, it's like such a long drive. It's like you have to make it worth it.
It's an all-dayer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've just been more scared to go snowboarding more than the other things, less control. I don't know.
Yeah, learning snowboarding sucks.
Once you get it, it's the most fun thing in the world.
Yeah, I bet. I love snow. Yeah. Like, I'm sure it's awesome.
It just takes like a weekend of diligence.
Yeah.
Of pain.
Yeah. Pain in your butt. Yeah.
Right. And then you'll be hooked.
You still twitching? You still posting?
I'm still keeping up with the video games, but I haven't made a video in quite a time. But it's just like, I think the biggest thing I'm working on right now is I'm trying to get my alumni from my old orchestral guitar class from high school. And we're doing a thank you video to my old teacher. And I've been emailing him back and forth about, possibly having like some kids come by the studio in Santee and, check it out just for, recreational use. But, it was like, COVID and stuff like that. And then I was like, well, what if I did something where everything's remote? I'm already at the studio, so I'm going to do a part. And then I've got two other guys from that class that are going to put a couple parts, and we're going to say thank you at the end and do a cover. Yeah.
That reminds me, I've been meaning to tell you, this was the original reason I hit you up the other day, yesterday. John Safari's part of that Artists United to End Homelessness.
Yes.
Yeah, I did a stream for them, and they sent me a shirt, or they're sending me a shirt, and they asked if I know any more artists that would want to do it. So you guys should both do it. They're really cool. There was like a photographer who's really, really good.
Oh,
on there.
like rep their shirt?
And like, so what they do is every 2 weeks they do basically a Zoom show. I think they were doing like in-person shows before COVID. So now they just set up a Zoom chat. There's usually like 20, 30 people, and maybe 5 to 10 artists will perform a song or two, 5 minutes, and then just talk about like what their message is or goal is.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds really rad.
I figured you can get some these White Pigeon fans out of it, and hopefully once everything opens up, we can like do stuff with John Safari to like play shows there. And
that'd be tight.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I remember the first time I met him, and I was like trying to figure him out for the longest time. And then I just, I just like found he was accepting of me, and I think that was all I needed. And then whatever he says is just, add to it,
Yeah.
But he's always hooked me up. Every time I've asked for help, he's always been there. And then when he comes down here too, he's, part of the same shows that I'm doing, and he's helped me get shows, and he throws me a bone every once in a while. And I miss working in the show stuff and doing my own kind of like, what I've come into, and then my own work too.
Yeah, man. I miss the AV gigs.
Yeah.
Those were great. Jeffrey, I don't know if you remember him when we did the San Diego one. He hit me up about a gig at Life Point. He was just like, they got me subbing in because the guy can't make it, but then I remembered I can't do it. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yes, Jeffrey, you remembered me. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's always handing me gigs, so
that's
I miss
awesome.
it. And yeah, John Safari is like probably bored out of his mind watching hockey.
Yeah.
We're in the same hockey pool, and he's just like always on it and always like.
He's got the best laugh, I think. Like,
yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yep. I had him on, I think, episode 22, 21.
Yeah. Watch that. That's awesome. Yeah.
At the taco place.
Yeah.
Taqueria Zaragozas. I miss that place.
I think John Safari was one of the first people that I like listened to some random podcast.
Oh, really?
And then I like met him. I was like, oh, dude, I've listened to you a bunch of times.
That's funny.
Those moments of serendipity.
Yeah.
Where for a while, this has become super normal, but you would like follow someone on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then meet them in real life. And you're like, this is weird, but that happens like all the time now. Where it's like, oh yeah, I've seen them on Instagram, and it's like,
and then we're
like conditioned to it. It's like normal.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, I'm expecting you to be exactly like how I first met you, even though you didn't meet me. Every time I like meet someone new now, and I show them this podcast, it's funny. I met my friend Randy, who works at that church, and he was like. I was like, yeah, check out the podcast because he's going to take vocal lessons with me. And
nice.
I sent him the vocal coach one where my vocal coach came on. And he was like, dude, I didn't know you had that personality, that animated self in the intro and all that.
Oh, that's awesome, yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah, I did one where I was really boring. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be like that anymore. So sometimes it's the other way around. People meet you in person, and then they're like, oh, I didn't expect you. Or when they see you at a show, they're like, I didn't know you had that in you. I've known you for 10 years. I didn't know you were that confident on stage.
Yeah, totally.
You're one of the best musicians I know, for sure.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I'll second that. I didn't know that's what we're going to say.
I didn't mean it to go there.
No. He's just speaking from the heart, but I echo your echo.
It's awesome. You taught me a lot, and I've grown since I met you, so that's awesome.
Oh, thanks, dude. I think all of us have like really seasoned as musicians a lot, even since we met each other. And it's funny because I think a lot of people come to shows too, or don't come to shows because they think, oh, this is my friend who's like kind of just like an artist. Like I don't know what he does. I've heard like 30 seconds of his music. I don't know if it's worth my time to go. They expect us to be like tuning and awkward feedback like that. They expect that beginner because we're not selling out arenas, right?
Yeah.
And then when they come to shows, it's like, whoa, wait. Why aren't you famous? Like, what's going on here? You're obviously really good at what you do. Like, or I get a lot of friends back home, like hockey friends especially, that are like, dude, like, I went and saw Fall Out Boy and it wasn't as good as what you just did. No shade on Fall Out Boy. It's just, that's like, it's always a surprise to people when they see their friend who's been playing music for over 10 years. Yeah. It's like, no, I wasn't just like being bad all the time.
I don't know. There's a lot of, I feel like, I don't know. There's like a lot of weird
doubt.
Yeah, like I think part of the narrative about being a musician is that it's supposed to be impossible, right? Or like there's so many like things that you have to like overcome to be anywhere near in the conversation of being a successful musician. First of all, you have to be like good, and it's like that is super hard to do on its own. So it's almost like for some people it's hard to believe that someone they know could be good at music. Yeah. Which is super strange to say, you know? Yeah. But not only that, you have to be good and you have to write good songs that are like popular too. I don't know. Right. There's so many things about it.
It's hard for a lot of normies, as I call them. People don't like that term, to believe that their friend could write an earworm or could perform and own a room. Because it's like, well, if you can do that, then you should be part of the 1% that is only shrinking. It's probably more like 0.1% that is successful off of original music. So yeah, I get why the doubt is there, but I'm also like shoving it down people's throat. Come to the show. Yeah. Yeah. Just trust me. Well, you'll like it.
There's some that, you know, who really love local music or smaller artists. Like that was such a thing back when we were in high school, you know, like finding this band that you know about that's like your secret like treasure, and you're just like sharing them and be like, dude, check this band out. Like that band difference. I showed you earlier.
Yeah, they were really good. Yeah. What are they called again?
Hazel and Vine. They've not been around for 10 years, but dude, some of the best music is not on Spotify. It's not on.
That's true.
It's not on Spotify or Apple Music. It's like it's vanished from the ether. It exists though.
No, it's in your soul, man.
It's still there.
Well, because some of those great musicians quit for a reason, because it's gotten so tough. And like, why pay $50 a year or whatever it is to keep your music up if you're not going to be touring? Is probably what they're thinking, right?
But yeah, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's not a how successful a band is or popular, whatever. You know, there's so many bands that aren't in that echelon that, or artists that aren't in that, but that have just incredible songs.
Yeah.
I think success is relative anyways. Like you can have, you know, success this big and make it feel like $1 million, but or you can look at Fall Out Boy and think, oh wow, they're successful.
Totally.
Because they're, you know, on the radio constantly.
I agree, and I've begun to look at success more like that, where I'm just stoked to do what I do, and I don't need to be as big as Green Day, you know.
Or whatever the goal is. Sure. Like if it's to improve people's lives, then you can get successful. You can achieve that goal fairly quickly,
or enrich their life.
Exactly. Yeah. If that's your goal, then just go out and play shows and play music and put your music up there. But if your goal is to be the biggest band and be able to make a certain amount of money off of music, it's funny. I watched the Under Oath documentary, one of them, where it really like gets super transparent about their finances and how much they have to pay their accountant, and like there's a lot of conflict in the like between the bandmates even with them struggling with that and trying to figure out, like sitting down with their accountant and figuring out like, okay, why are we only able to take home like just over $1,000 each after these long tours? Like we can't support our families with this, yet they're walking out to stages with 4,000, 5,000 people freaking out. They have like a cult following. Yeah. So it's crazy that like once you get to that level, you basically have to maintain that following and that status and those guarantees, or however you're making the money. Otherwise, like Yellowcard, I'm sure, has some stories of like, we had a huge album, multi-platinum, I think Ocean Avenue was. And then you have a bus you got to pay, a manager you got to pay, the labels reaching in, the agents reaching in, you got to pay an accountant to manage all that. And then it's like, okay, we're selling out huge venues, but it's still barely breaking the bank because we have so many expenses. So still hugely successful, every album they put out, but not nearly as successful as the golden years of releasing a pop punk album when Ocean Avenue came out and how great it is. It's like, you have to kind of save it for a rainy day when something like that happens. Something great happens.
Yeah, when the product was no longer the music, it's a tough world to thrive in, financially.
I mean, it sucks speaking for Under Oath and Yellowcard without having them in the room on the podcast.
Yeah.
But maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah. now all the big artists are going to see this episode and be like, yo, I'm not going on that guy's podcast. He's going to ask me about numbers and the golden years.
I liked what one of your previous podcasts, I forgot his name, but he played on a City and Color album.
Nick Skalkos.
Yeah, and he was talking about the wave and how you got to be on it to,
always be ready.
And that's like the thing is like, if you're always on the wave and you're just ready for someone to, be interested in something that you're doing rather than feeling like nobody's going to come to your show, you're going to have a better path to walk, I think.
And always available was his big point too, because obviously probably all the musicians I've had on have side jobs, right?
Yeah.
And he had a side job at the time too.
I thought it was cool too when he was talking about like redoing the houses and I was just like, dang, that's.
But at the time, I think he was working at a restaurant, and luckily, he said his boss was really understanding about him going and doing music endeavors. So he was able to be like, "Oh, you want me to come tonight? Like I'm at work right now. I got to work tonight, but it's to drum on City and Color's album. All right, I'm there." Mm-hmm. Not a lot of musicians can do that, and I'm sure a lot of great musicians with the experience that he has probably would be like, I can't get there tonight. Like, can we do it tomorrow? Oh, lost the gig, right?
Yep.
So you never know.
It could have been the difference of having that thing on his wall, and that's like part of it, I think, Which is a big reason why he went into sustainable income, or what did he call it? Yeah, I think that's right. Sustainable income or reoccurring or
income, passive income that you don't have to like be there and now
while you're sleeping.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and you can be flexible and be like, oh wait, there's this big opportunity. Okay, I'll finish the house next week or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can procrastinate.
Is riding the wave like just keeping going? Just like keeping... So what he also meant was like making sure your chops are up and making sure that you're ready for that opportunity. Even if you don't have a show that month, still practice 2-3 hours a day as if you do have a show coming up that you got to be ready for, and just make sure your chops are in check. So that he basically went in the studio and nailed it, and it was like that opened so many doors for him too.
Okay. He's got this aura. I think it was impressing me the most too. He's just like, yeah, man, like he's shaking his head and his hair and everything. It's like, yeah, just love doing it.
And super transparent. Like my favorite thing he said on that was when he was like, I'll never talk shit online about a band again.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And he said the one time, the one time he did it, it was about this band from like Northern Ontario, Canada, that sounded like Nickelback, and they really liked his band at the time, the Miniatures. So he said something about them online, and I don't know if it like got a lot of flack or people saw it. It was probably during like local band message board days. So he said that like that band sounds like Nickelback or whatever, and you know it's just butt rock, or I don't know what he said, but the band like of course hit them up to tour, and he was just like, I just felt so bad, and like every day they were so nice to us. They introduced their fans to us. That's the
worst kind of hell.
Yeah, exactly. He was just like, oh man, I feel so bad I talk shit on this band, and they were incredible musicians live, and it was like,
yeah,
you know, you never know when that's going to come back to bite you in the ass, for better or for worse. Luckily, he got off the hook in a good way, right?
Yeah. I've had a experience, not exactly like that, but it was, I wrote a song about a girl that I felt was just scandalous, and I called it The Easy. And it was a really upbeat song and everything, and she ended up, you know, really liking it after, hearing it. And for a long time, she had no idea, and then people were just hounding me about who it was. And then it ended up being, you know, like I wasn't really her friend before I wrote it, and then I became her friend, and I felt like it ended our friendship for a really long time.
Once she found out the song was about her?
Yes.
Oh, you let it out?
I
let
did.
The cat out of the bag?
And to someone that I probably shouldn't have said it to, because, you know, it's just...
Yeah, you should have told her.
That's the kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
I am really careful about what I write about now, just because I don't want to, you know, I don't want it to get personal, you know? Like,
yeah, but I would argue that, like, hey, if you're in that mindset at the time and you need to write about,
it was therapeutic, I guess, in a sense.
I think you should have just told her at some point, like, hey, I should tell you, you know, I don't feel this way anymore, but.
Well, I think we've come to terms now to where we can talk, but like we were like really close.
Write a song about how bad you feel.
Yeah, I probably should. That would actually make everything all better, right?
You're welcome.
Actually, my bad could actually be.
Yeah, there you go. Just that's it.
Yeah.
Unless she hears this podcast.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're off the hook.
I don't know if she keeps up with my stuff anymore, but
there's like 0.00001% she'll find out about this.
It's like my number one regret, though.
I can promise you. I look at the analytics.
Well, back on talking shit about bands.
Want to talk some shit?
You're like, in that case, if no one's gonna see it, I got some shit to say.
No. When you said that just kind of reminded me of my, 14-year-old self, and how my 29-year-old self is like, I can't remember the last time I talked shit on a band because I'm so not interested in doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think that's lame. It's like, I get, I'm on Facebook because I have to be for the betterment of my career and just keeping a finger on the pulse and, just seeing, that people still do that and people still gatekeep or whatever you want to call it. And I'm just like, oh, this is really lame. Capital L. Like, just go enjoy music and don't tell people what they can't enjoy or whatever. I thought it was so edgy and cool to talk crap on Slipknot and bands like that when I was
and Nickelback gets it the worst.
For sure.
Look at this graph, dude.
But now I'm just like, well, that's funny, that stuff's awesome. But now I really don't have anything negative to say about Nickelback.
I don't either.
They write great songs.
Totally.
Yeah.
I saw them live too. They put on a hell of a show.
No, if I could go to a Nickelback show for free, I'd do it. Why not?
Yeah.
I love going to shows. And Slipknot, I think, is tight now. I was just it's people just need something to do. But what it really is people want to feel like they're the shit. And that helps them do that. Yeah. So whether it's talking crap on people, like you did in high school, or
especially at 14.
Bands.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But it's kind of sad when people do that at 25,
right?
And it's I see right through you. It's
unfortunately, it's most prevalent in the rock scene. A lot of people have been saying,
it harms the rock scene
for sure
so much.
Yeah,
there's a lot of examples or things we could all go into about behaviors that it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy in the rock music scene. It's our scene is dying because of these behaviors. I don't know. Well, that's a whole episode in and of itself, maybe.
Right. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of things that are like toxic to this scene and probably some other scenes too. Oh, there's the alarm.
Uh-oh.
It always happens during the beginning of a conversation.
Oh, man, we need to talk about your video game, dude.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk about the video game.
We need to talk about the video game, dude.
That's for sure.
Yeah. All the ideas keep popping up.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that.
Have you been thinking of it? Have you thought of anything crazy that you want to add?
Well, I mean, like, the whole Tony Hawk, I was thinking of a Skyrim engine first. I mean, I get why Grand Theft Auto was like
Wait, what is that game?
Skyrim?
Yeah, I've never played that.
Oh, man.
It's like Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
It's more
gnarly.
of just like the person view. It's not third person all the time, but you can switch in between kind of thing. And I don't know. I prefer that engine just playing anyways. It's just a different play style, I guess, when you're playing by him. Yeah. But I was thinking like they have like things to collect and things like, like how you're saying get those tickets and stuff. And I was thinking like what kind of resources would you have to collect? Like you have to go through this thing to get this medal or something like.
You got to put the right friends on the guest list.
Yeah. I really like resource games, like collecting things and then being able to hoard things. And
it came up recently that like you have to remember to take the water bottles from backstage after to your next tour stop. Otherwise you could dehydrate.
They do bottle caps in Fallout for currency, yeah.
Or you should be able to return empties too.
Yeah.
If you ever need like $6,
yeah,
you can return empties. Like that's like the lowest low you have to go to get money after like everyone screws you for a few episodes.
So have you talked about the game on the pod?
Pretty much every episode.
Okay, tight. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Dude, you know how like there are games that it's like an engine where it's like the game is like creating a new like universe every time you play it.
Okay.
This game could have like anything can happen in this game. Like like
I see it as a monthly
aliens come down.
It's like a living
it's like a living game that's constantly being made while you're playing it.
Yeah.
So there's infinite amount of endings.
Yeah.
To the game.
Yeah.
Like Warframe is a really good example, I think.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
I would love to see something, or even go mobile. Mobile games are blowing up, and it might even be less expensive to go mobile.
Dude, point and click RPG. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Point and click RPG.
That's what this should be. Point and click RPG. Someone out there will know what that is.
I'm trying to imagine
do you literally mean like
there's like an interface, you have a mouse, and it's like you walk into a room and then you have like a little picture of what the room looks like.
It's like Click, that movie with Adam Sandler.
No, it's not like that, but maybe.
See, I don't think this video game is gonna ever come to fruition, but if it does, it's
I bet it will.
It's probably going to take at least 8 years.
Yeah.
And I think by then everything's going to be virtual reality. All PlayStations, all the games are going to be like headset and.
Well, I think it's a good idea, and I think as someone that was related to video games at all would hear it and be like, dang, yeah. I mean, like...
It would be awesome, and like I'd like to have our circle of friends be the brains behind it.
Yeah.
But in any case, I think it's going to be virtual reality, and I think it'll be so real at that point that...
It'll be like training.
Also, like, you know how you can make, I can't remember what it's called. It's huge in like Japan or China or something, where you can make computer generated music, like all computer generated. Even the vocals are like basically a singing Bonzi buddy. Mm-hmm. I could see this becoming like, okay, you have to perform the music. It's virtual reality. You have to write the music. I think it'll be so real that it'll get to the point where the music that is being written by some of the players, especially the players that are starting to go viral, their music will be as big as some of the biggest
Could
touring
be like the
artists.
next MySpace platform,
Exactly.
but in a video game.
Exactly. Like
that would be so rad.
That happens to be the new way you get your video game out. And like your message comes across in the game too, because you're like, it's my message to like help out the homeless. And it's like, oh, this dude helps out the homeless too. And listen to his new song that he just made to get to like the next level of like Warped Tour stage.
Does he help out the homeless or the virtual homeless?
Well, hey, just like Tony Hawk had Ollie the Bum.
Yeah.
There'll be actual like homeless people in it, and there'll be benefit shows that you got to like try and get on, and you don't get paid from them, but you gain new followers so that next time you go through the town.
I'm having an idea right now as we're talking. So like, you know how like you have like a laminate for like a tour you go on or something? So like every laminate you acquire like increases a buff in some way. Like either you got like an endorsement from some kind of thing, or like fans, or like, you know, some kind of perk, and like that stays with your account until, you know, and you keep upgrading from there. You know what I mean? Have some kind of like thing that you advance in yourself that goes over all these stats and stuff. I love stats.
Or gifts from fans. Like there's like the mental health meter, and like
you got to keep up with practice. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you got to keep up with practice. But like if your mental health is going down too low from like playing at empty rooms, then like you have to engage with your fans and like talk to them after the show, so that they can like give you the gift that they brought you, and then your mental health goes up, because it's like, oh wow, I mean something to these people. Mental health level up.
Does everyone's character have like a different disposition towards like mental health? Like they have like a character stat growth?
Yes.
So like you have to like D&D, you roll at the beginning and you get like a different like character
or
stat.
you could just select so you create your character and what they look like, and then you have say 25 points, and you can assign those 25 points to mental health, durability,
like Tony Hawk,
actual health, speed and balance.
Totally.
If you're a guitar player,
you can have like total fortitude, mental health, but your chops on guitar are like not great.
Right.
Yeah, right.
You're really good at driving the van.
You have a lot of heart, but you're just not that good.
I would be the van driver archetype.
Yeah, so like when you're singing, you have to like they already have this in video games where you have to get close to the pitch. Yeah. So if you put a lot of points in pitch, then your actual self doesn't need to sing as on pitch. It'll bring you the auto-tune level will be slightly better.
Here's the thing though, like 5% of the game is actually playing music.
Yeah,
so you want to so maybe you want to think about where you put those stats.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be a good van driver.
Right.
You want to be good at promotion.
You don't. Yeah.
Nowadays, you want to be good at promotion and marketing. That is where you should use most of your points. Yeah, van driving is important.
I really like it.
All
the strategies that you
crack
can come
up
up
if
with.
Some of the School of Rock kids listen to this podcast. They're like, oh my gosh, all my hard work.
Yeah, they'd all play it.
Of course.
And then you can like...
You've been putting your stats.
Here's the thing, though. What they've been learning through School of Rock, they'll be able to implement in their songwriting, and they'll be like, oh, I'm already like at level 5 for the songwriting challenges, side quests, or when I play my songs that I created live, like the people who show up to watch love it. And you could also like be a fan, and you could go in fan mode, the same character.
Fan mode.
And there's an inspiration level too, part of mental health, and your inspiration level goes up when you go to shows as a fan and see other people playing the game and performing their songs and being like, you know, back to what we were talking about 15 minutes ago, you can't just go talk shit on that band. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of credibility there too.
Yeah.
You got to go meet that band, and like you have to actually literally network with other gamers online.
I think that's really good, dude. I think it's very intricate, and I think it could be done right. And
the moral of all this is AI is officially taking over, and like we are literally living in a virtual reality, whether we believe it or not. It's like at a certain point,
augmented reality.
Yeah.
Did you see that Tony Robbins interview with the the robot or something?
No.
He like has like a full on conversation, and he's like a life coach, right?
Yeah.
So like he's like asking like questions he would ask like people he's training or coaching, and it was just like it was kind of weird, like how the responses were, because he was asking kind of off questions that don't have normal responses and kind of like have more thought to it, you know? And it was really kind of scary, but it's where we're at now. So we got to start thinking on top of that, you know, like
I got to see that.
It's crazy.
Don't slap your computers.
Yeah, they have feelings
Don't
too.
drop your phones. It'll all be remembered.
Unless it has a bad motivator, then you get a new R2D2, you know?
John Foreman came out with a song about how our phones and these apps that we're on all the time are here today, gone tomorrow. And it's basically mostly talking about his old phones and how he can't believe how much those were part of his life. And then one day or 1 week, they went from 100% to zero part of his life at all.
Is that on the new album?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite song on it.
Which song is it?
I think it's just called Disposable. I could be wrong.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then they just live in a drawer.
Exactly. I think he even uses that analogy for even some of the apps that are like so important for us to put our talent into and our time, yet, and we're led to believe that these are the things that are gonna live on forever and be the most important thing. But you know, by tomorrow there's gonna be a new one, just like there's a new phone that is gonna be in our pockets and in our hands all day, every day.
Yeah. And then you got to basically recreate yourself after that switch too, because it's already like really expensive. And then to move it all to this new thing is just like, oh my gosh. Like,
well, I got a new phone and to transfer all this stuff took 2 hours. I had to do some logging in, including all the logging in. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how fast it switches over. But that's kind of his point is like within one day, I went from this old phone that should have some sort of sentimental value. Like me and this thing, I saw this thing more than any of my family members or friends for, you know, I saw my families and members and friends through this thing. And then it's just like, yeah, well, out with the old, in with the new. That battery sucks in that one now.
No, we got to make the best way we can.
You know, like just like MySpace. It's like,
yeah, that's what I was referring to. Yeah.
One day, everybody just like, I say we got hit with the Men in Black wand because we all forgot our logins.
I know mine.
I think it's changed. I remember my login. It's changed.
I can't remember mine.
They
changed that.
The site is dilapidated and does not function, but it is. You can still log in.
Oh, really?
I have my login.
I thought they were just still on that horizontal scrolling.
It is the horizontal thing, but it's like all dilapidated in the HTML or whatever. It might have been running on Flash, and Flash isn't a thing now. I have no idea. But my MySpace is myspace.com/maximum_plaid. I still remember my URL.
Really?
Which is what MXPX originally was going to be called.
Oh.
But they changed it to MXPX.
See, my old, very first bass player created the band's MySpace. So even if I were to click forgot my password, it would go to like one of his old emails. And so I have no way of getting in there.
Yeah.
And seeing even what songs are up there.
Oh, man. If you could get in there and then go to your personal profile and hit inbox and see all the cringy messages you sent. Dude,
nostalgia.
Yeah.
I mean, even my old email that I still kind of use for like things I have to sign up for and whatnot.
Yeah. It's weird to go back in there.
Sometimes I'll have to search things for like getting my work permit or whatever, and I'll see emails from like 2007.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm just like, I used to talk like that. I typed that out.
Yeah, totally. It's just like that. It's wild.
To go back then, though. One of the greatest songs ever written. I wish that I knew what I know now. when I was younger. Have you guys heard that song?
Maybe.
A lot of Americans haven't. I've been finding.
So, but I can't tell you the artist.
Sounds European.
It's
maybe.
a very big Canadian song.
Oh.
It's in a Canadian commercial right now too. But yeah, every kid's Canadian parents have like played that song a lot. So it's probably a Canadian artist. But it's true.
Celine Dion.
I don't think she writes her songs. It's David Foster, greatest songwriter.
I think Ryan Reynolds wrote Ashes. Did you guys hear that song?
No.
It's the Deadpool 2 music video.
Oh, he did? Wow.
He wrote Ashes and asked Celine Dion to sing it, and it like got me to tears. That's how great it was. Yeah, super good.
It's really surprising how little like amazing singers actually write, because it's like at a certain point, especially for like multi-instrumentalists, it's like you only have so much time in a day, right? So if you're going to be this incredible singer, chances are you didn't spend much of your time crafting songs or mastering the art of crafting songs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the video game, you got to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
And you got to drive the van, too.
You got to be the driver. You have to literally build your light show out of wood.
I think it'd be cool if you could squat up into 4, 2, or 5,
man.
and then like take events together, like cover events. You know what I mean? Like if you play the drums, you got to like squat up with 2 guitar players and a bass player or something.
The funniest thing about this game is that Mike has actually lived it.
Yeah. Essentially, it's going to be like just
that's why it'll work
so long.
That's why I'm like, I just got to find a game developer and feed him all these ideas of what I've actually been through and all the vans breaking down and like doing 360s in the middle of the highway out of nowhere for no reason, just from a tranny slip.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like trying to think of if I know anybody. I think I have like one friend that is a part, not really like, he doesn't develop games. I think he's an advertiser for the games.
Okay.
But he was the one that was telling me to get into Twitch, and he gave me a couple games to play on Steam to like, get some content out, but my computer doesn't run them. So my MacBook, so that's been a big halt in it. But maybe I can get him to talk to you and or talk about it to him and see if he'd be, because he's all about the music too. So I think maybe he'd know somebody to pitch it to.
Yeah, we just gotta like meet someone at Rockstar Games, someone who can do these crazy map games like Red Dead and
yeah.
You know that those games like Red Dead and GTA have like 1,000 or more people working on
That's
them.
what I mean. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it'll never come to fruition. But if it does,
it could be made by like an indie game developer, but it would look way different. You know what I'm saying?
I think
like
that'd be rad.
It could go on Steam. It could be like all 8-bit or 16-bit, like Stardew Valley.
Yeah, like one of I think he's episode 16, David Hagler. He is developing this kind of. I just had the game on the tip of my tongue. What's that block game? Minecraft-esque, but it's a little more 3D in that you can make anything not out of blocks, but out of lines, and you can use. So you know how Canva, when we were making flyers, that website Canva has a bunch of templates, or not templates, but like clip art. Mm-hmm. So in this game, you can create lands and expand your land as however much data you want to use. But you can also use the clip art from like a piece of a girl's hair is one of the pieces of clip art, and you can put that on as your character, and he has a way of it moving exactly how it would move. And so he's got like a lot further than the basics for this kind of stuff, but I mean, the way we're talking about this game, it's like pretty extensive and overly realistic. So
yeah, that's the big dream.
Yeah,
but you could maybe settle for the indie game developer.
I think an indie would be awesome. I think someone would gobble it up and do it right too.
That could be the prototype.
Yeah,
that could be V1. And then there's the Rosedale edition.
It can improve as it goes, just like South Park, just like this podcast.
Yeah, totally.
And then you start selling DLCs for it.
You start with the
special packs.
This for Steam 2D, but there's like a story mode. Yeah. You know, you still have the character roles and the stats and the disposition.
Yeah.
But you know, eventually there'll be a Rockstar engine.
Yeah.
Right.
Skyrim.
Yeah, like even Skyrim has developed like their games like what was their first Oblivion or
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, the Elder Scrolls they've gone up in quality and what you can do with them, and so it could be like that where
people got to get, you know, onto the concept, understand it before we spend millions.
Well, what would be great is, I don't know if this is harder or easier, but to make it just a phone app for now. And there's just like
people are making full-on games.
Just little side quests of like, all right, play the right notes, and then you got to drive to the next. Yeah, but then you have to drive to the show too.
Those drive levels are treacherous.
Is this a music game or a driving game? Oh, I get what they're trying to do. You have to do all the things that you have to do to be in a band. Oh, now I have to edit this Facebook page too. Now I have 2 Facebook pages. I didn't ask for that.
Of course, you'd have to like come up with a new Facebook name because you couldn't use Facebook, but it'd be something like that, or like Bookface or something.
Placebook.
You know, something backwards. That
My Face.
Yeah, My Face.
Yeah, that's perfect. My Face. MyFace.com.
Right now, the name that it's been settled on is The Grind.
I like The Grind. Yeah,
The Grind. It was originally The Artist Game, and David Hagler didn't like it. So The Grind, and like I was thinking even of just making the first initial levels Warped Tour, so that you can keep it pretty in the box of like, here's a small map with lots of side quests and missions, and you start in the parking lot.
Are they finding keys for other bands? Is that a side quest?
What do you mean keys though? Because it has to be very
keys on the Rock On stage.
Oh, like to help another band as like to get your foot in the door.
You gotta call in some favors.
No, it should be like super realistic. Like, hey man, you know where I can get any weed? Oh, the dudes from Never Shout Never need you to find the drummer of Never Shout Never needs you to find a weed. Yeah, that could open up some doors.
And then you got a little thing above your head, and it's got a little like toggle where it's pointing. You got to follow this area to get to the thing, and
then you're like
maps.
Then you're asking around, but you gotta like make sure you don't get jumped or like fooled into buying oregano.
You gotta make sure your stats are high enough to recognize the difference. Yeah.
Fooled into buying oregano.
That's the street smarts. Sure. I think that would be a good one. Street smarts as a level.
Yeah. Street smarts would be important.
Yeah.
Make sure your gear doesn't get stolen, because that does happen at some point in St. Louis.
And you see that in musicians too, like the person that just learned classical the whole time, never played anything else, and then the one that played power chords and started that way, but they both make music.
But like I want it to eventually be, I mean, this probably wouldn't be the case for the Warped Tour edition, but I want it eventually to be like you can go off in any genre. You can be a rapper. You can be a classical violin player.
It should, I think you could play like
your goal could be to join the symphony, or it could be to open up for Lady Gaga. Whatever you want, whatever direction you want to go. It's just we need at least 5,000 game developers with 20 years experience or more.
I think it'd be great, dude. I think it would work too. I think it might work. I don't know. So that's why I'm excited about it.
For now, the goal is to just get people to comment on these videos and say what else we should do in this video game idea.
Oh, my favorite parts are like the most painful parts of the game.
We should find someone that can make us cartoon.
Show has been canceled. Show is canceled.
3 in a row.
The sound guy is so upset that you loaded your gear in early. Which I forgot to mention. I didn't even know this, but this is the Setting Up Gear crew.
Yes.
From the parody.
Gear.
So I got to put that in the description. I was like, well, what do we even advertise for this episode? And setting up gear, if you haven't seen it.
That was fun. That was really fun.
And I got to get you, Jesse. Nick, I just gave you a bottle.
Is that some Vocalese?
Some Vocalese.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, dude.
Yeah. I've been forgetting.
Thank you.
Lifesaver.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try using some right now.
It's good stuff.
You know, speaking of pot, like I still have your one that you gave me a long time ago.
What did I give? Oh, a Vocalese?
I think I got one of these. Yeah, but it's like right next to where I keep like, because I like to do it like after I smoke. So.
Oh, okay.
And the one that I have got all like sticky with resin and stuff, and so I haven't used it.
Why did it like leak in your bag or something? Or
no,
it's just in the same bag.
It's like close to my poker.
Oh, okay.
Danger zone.
I'm glad I got another one. That's what I'm trying to say.
Nice.
So you learned from last time. You
Yeah.
gotta keep it in a special.
Now I got a nice package, and I don't have to like think about actually using it.
Do you think that it negates the effects of smoking? You're like,
It's just nice.
now I won't feel the negative.
I'm allowed to say whatever I want that it does, and for me, it heals my sore throat. But if you want to say that it cures COVID, go for it.
It cures COVID.
It can't help, that's for sure. I mean, it can't hurt.
It can't hurt.
It can help.
If you have a scratchy throat from COVID and you spray a little Vocalese.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
It's really nice. It's like that honey.
It's a miracle.
Ginger and
Miracle spray.
It might even bring your sense of taste back.
I don't know anybody with COVID, but well,
It's the new vaccine.
Yeah.
Watch out, Johnson and
Just
Johnson.
as good.
I have to do it again now. Or like Lloyd.
You know it's so funny. You know it's so funny though. Like, yeah, like Lloyd. Like that's what I feel like during shows when we would turn around and take a spray or two of Vocalese.
Yeah,
what people must be thinking when we're
like,
doing that.
Are they making sure they have nice breath so that they can get all the girls? I've had that come up.
That's so
a couple times. Like not from Vocalese, but like a friend of Sienna's saw me
What is he doing?
at 8123 Fest.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, is that Mike from Rosedale? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, I heard that he only plays music to get girls.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember when that happened.
And what it is somewhere along the line, she got confused because I used to have a band member whose name was also Mike. So this Mike from Rosedale literally had gone on interviews and said like, I literally only started playing music to get girls.
Was cool to say that.
He still probably says it. He's hilarious and like it's true. He did start playing music only to get girls, but so I'm like, oh, I think I know what happened. That they probably thought I'm the other Mike, and they're like, no, they said Mike Liorti. I'm like, yeah, but you got to understand, there was another Mike from Rosedale that was accused of that because he literally said
likely story.
You think I play 200 shows a year in small crowds and deal with all this crap we're talking about in the video game to get girls?
Never know.
Yeah, I love that. I love when people think that being a musician is gonna get you girls.
I feel like it's the opposite. I think it's like the worst thing to tell to a girl when I first meet one.
Totally
it's like, oh,
right.
You're a musician.
I mean, everything is backwards now. Like as soon as someone finds like you could be dating the coolest girl in the world, and her friend be like, so how is it with your boyfriend who's like a musician? Is he like struggling? And like the most secure person could become insecure just hearing.
I become insecure because
exactly.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, even I can be like, I don't care what anyone says. I love playing music. They can think what they want, and then you get to the Thanksgiving dinner table, and it's like, so how's music?
I know. Or like the real job, like when are you gonna get a real job? Or like when you get a real job, it's gonna be, so much better. It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of hearing that.
Yeah, or even the original thing we started talking about on this podcast was when people realize that like, oh, so like you're in a band? Like, that's cool. And then they come and see you and they're like, whoa, like, I wasn't expecting that. And you're like, oh, dang, well, then everybody isn't expecting this. How am I supposed to convince everybody? That's kind of what I wrote Gray about. It's like, how am I supposed to get everybody on board with this? I feel like I'm so far from achieving any sort of goal. But that's the kind of the post-tour depression.
Yeah, that bite-sized goals.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's definitely got to be part of the video game is after your tour.
Oh, daily quests, dude.
Yeah.
That's
you got to
totally
go back to working in a warehouse.
Have you guys noticed that people who act like they're bigger than they really are end up becoming bigger?
Yes and no. I know they exist and I've seen it, but I've also seen it go the other way.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely like with endorsements for sure.
Well, and getting to open for bigger bands and getting opportunities, and is that the old reset?
Yeah, it's fine. I have this wide going too, so
getting signed to record labels and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, and honestly, I wish I could say bad things about them, but they're just playing the game.
Yeah. It's just smart marketing, for sure.
And you could be like, they're a dick or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, this band is like acting like, but guess what? They're playing this game and it worked. Not only
faking it to make it, but also avoiding, just like avoiding exposing how small they are. Right. So there's like 80% of the somewhat successful local bands that I hit up when I'm touring through town will say no to me asking if they'll play the show or headline the show, especially. They're just like, they'll do their homework and see how big my act really is and how many people are probably going to come to the show, or if it's not at the right venue, they'll just be like, no, like we already know what that show's going to look like.
I've been in that part of town.
That was me when you hit me up for our first show. I'm kidding.
But no, you did your homework and you were like, I like this music.
Yeah, that is quite true.
Which, I mean, respect. That's awesome.
Yeah. Look where that led us.
And no talking shit on the bands who were like, no, this is like clearly not in our interest because it's going to make us look even smaller. If anything, we're helping that band, which we don't owe that band anything.
That's just being wise and doing what's best for them.
It makes sense, but at the same time, I like taking that approach where it's like, if the band sounds promising, you're kind of in the shoes of the record label where it's like, hey, if I see this band has potential and I can bring them some success and possibly get a show swap from them. You want to build a bridge. Right. Even if they're coming from over 2,000 miles away and I don't see myself going there anytime soon, maybe they end up moving to my town and now I help them out, so there's definitely a lot of benefit from being a yes man and having no spine.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of quick success from just staying on your priorities and being like, I want to portray an image that makes me look really desirable.
Well, you got to play good shows, right? You can't just play shows that aren't good for you or won't move the ball down the field. So...
And it's a shame that they are right, because the reason they're right is people's perception. And they don't want to play to an empty room, even if they put on a kick-ass show and gain 5 fans. Chances are those 5 fans, even if they're impressed, are going to have a little bit of subconscious, last time I went, it was kind of awkward. No one was there.
Right.
So it helps to play shows that are full. Unfortunately.
I don't know if your podcast fan base deals with this kind of thing, but what I tell a lot of people who are starting out in music is play absolutely anywhere and everywhere. Say yes to everything. Play as many shows as you can. So you get all that experience under your belt and you level up as a band, Just get tight that's what it's about for a long time. For any
art.
Anyone, for sure.
Sienna gets told that for acting all the time.
Exactly. Take every
everything.
gig. Say yes. Yeah. Go play open mic nights, whatever. And just get that experience and like
network.
And do it because you love it. And then you start to get to work on like the marketing and the being choosy about gigs and your public like, I don't know, I guess what your perception of that or whatever.
Yeah, and starting to figure out what to say yes to and what to say no to.
Right, because you want to make sure every show you kind of like outdid the last one. So to speak, not, you know.
That's why I think a lot of bands I hit up say no, is they're like, we just played to 500 people. We don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot by playing to 20.
You just kind of want to try to build and build and build and not, you know.
I think that's like the best thing about being a solo guy is that I don't have to really care too much about who's there. I mean, like I do a lot. Like if it's a full room, I'm really excited, but like it's like
you're not gonna have 3 bandmates pissed at you that you said yes to this show.
I had to drive out here for this, dude. I'm barely playing bass, dude.
Why do we keep playing these stupid shows, bro?
Dude, there's so many different things that you have to do to keep everyone in the band's mental stamina.
It's a freaking,
we've been playing these same songs for 2 years. You gotta write new songs.
Yeah, and I don't know if the bandmates will be AI or if they'll be actual like other musicians that tend to be in the same
squad up like that. Yeah, like have and then like almost have it like a guild, like a small guild, to where like you can build up the guild to like or like the band. You'd call it a band. You wouldn't, but I'm saying guild because that's like the norm,
the band is a guild,
right?
I get you.
Yes, and then you can name your band, and you can
for sure.
You know, and
you got to design a logo. You have to like use their like Photoshop-esque clip art or whatever to make your logo.
But that's almost like after you get to like level 15 or like 30 or something, you've been through some kind of rigorous training, and you know you've been a solo person, even just playing guitar, or you
played the open mics.
Yeah, and you know gain stats that way, and then you're recruited eventually into some kind of.
You know, it's funny. I just thought of when you were starting to talk about being a solo guy, and like you can kind of play to whatever. That kind of reminded me of something that me and Mike started doing, which ended up to eventually let us being in a band together, is instead of taking every show opportunity, because people would hit us up and playing as a band, we offered to play acoustic.
Yeah. And be like, and you're getting 2 bands essentially.
Yeah.
Or learn 3 songs of each other's each.
Yeah. And
then it's like,
I did that with Maya Lights. Have you heard of them?
Oh, yeah.
With,
I've seen Maya Lights.
Hutton.
And Freddie Padilla.
We had Hutton's little thing, and then Maya Lights, and then my thing. We all went to, where was it, Mountain View and back. And it was really fun. He made laminates.
On a tour?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We went in his Honda Pilot or something.
These White Pigeons played on that tour? Oh, tight.
Just me, and he backed me up on like 2 songs that he knew on Cajon, and
sweet.
It was such a good time, dude. It was so fun.
It's the way to do it. And like we saved so much gas and band mental health from playing those just like duet acoustic shows. Like we were able to go to El Centro and back for like $20 with your car instead of like, all right, everybody get in your vehicles. Oh, we could all, you know, here's a last minute show that, you know, we can network and build bridges at, which actually ended up helping us out in the future.
It was sweet. And, you know, like he said, it just takes so much more manpower and work to pull off a band set.
Right.
And it's just not always worth the payoff on setting up gear. But when it's like we created a different avenue for us. It's like we made an acoustic set we're really stoked about, and our fans or whoever who are not fans, people we could win over potentially, could be stoked about this kind of different stream of us.
And to Jesse's point, if we show up and play to an El Centro small little cafe of 8 people, it's not as awkward. It's not like, ow, this is so loud because the room's empty. It's like, oh, I like what their lyrics are about. They can actually hear them.
That's the biggest thing for me too. I like before the internet, it was hard for me to like know every single word. I realized later that I was singing it wrong the whole time, or the acoustic version came out and I'm like, oh, that's what they're saying? Like, yeah. So like it has I've always liked that, you know, and then the drop D acoustic, I don't know why some people don't like that sound, but I love that sound. Like it sounds good. Like, I don't know.
I'm drop D acoustic probably 95% of the time.
Yeah. Mike being in standard is like
I'm probably
anomaly.
I think I'm in standard more on bass now than I am on guitar, which is really weird.
Because you want that open E string.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I remember
you play in drop D a lot?
I actually no.
Just here and there.
Adam got on me because I wasn't.
Gotcha.
And he was feeling that's probably a big reason why my songs are like he's listening to what I've been wanting to sound like, kind of thing. He's like, dude, all this is in drop D and drop D. So so I've been trying to play more.
It's a whole new world.
It is a little bit. You get some, you know, you're dealing with 3 more often than not 3 strings, you know, instead of the whole thing, which tightens it up a lot more. So you have to be more on the, you know, on the beat, and it's not so more about strumming away, and, you know, so.
Totally. It has a different sound. It's kind of more punchy or something.
Yeah, that D.
When you're playing less notes too.
Yeah.
There's just something about acoustic like that. That's cool.
Or the walking bass thing, you know, that's Blink's, you know, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think you'll the more you play in drop D too, you'll find that there's cool shapes that allow you to play all 6 strings more often than in standard. I find when I'm in standard now, I'm like, these are power chord-esque chords. Whereas when I'm in a drop D, I'm like, I'm barring the bottom 3, but listen to these little flavors I got going on the top, right?
Yeah. So it's just you know, playing in a different tuning. You know, it's always going to be different. And you got to find it.
It's good for the creative palette.
Yeah.
Shout out Adam Cisco.
Yeah, shout out.
He still has this capo that I ordered off Instagram, which I haven't even seen yet. And like literally every ad I've ever fallen for on Instagram, I've been
dog tent.
Extremely disappointed with the dog tent. I ordered this tent that was like an open front of a tent. It looked like this. So it was like a fold-out tent, and it took forever to show up. And I ordered it for our tour because I was like, "Oh, we're going camping. I need a tent. It's $10."
Yeah. And
it shows up, and it's literally this high, and it's literally like a Snoopy tent.
Like it just lays over you.
It's like this dome that covers like up to your chest, and then like a little bit of your back.
Oh man!
But I was like, so this is pathetic, and I already got my money back, luckily, because it took so long to come. And I was like, it didn't show up. And then it finally did, and I was like, oh, this was free. And I actually did end up sleeping with it about 4 times on that tour, because I was like, it blocks the sun. Yeah, this is exactly what I need.
It's like almost being under the stars.
Yeah, but this capo thing is like, you can basically assign individual strings to be capoed while leaving other strings open.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that can go wrong unless it's super cheap and plastic and breaks, but... Yeah, everything I've ever fallen for on Instagram, I've been extremely disappointed.
Funny because we live in this Amazon generation. I'll go to stores and I'll be like, I don't know, this product could be the counterfeit. The real one's like on Amazon. Like I trust Amazon more.
Yeah, like
but when it comes to Instagram, I'm like, I don't trust these.
Yeah, all the Instagram ads are like somehow
that's gonna be phony.
Yeah, somehow like the video makes it look super legit.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
Yeah, I got a drone that was like $70, and I was like, well, that'll still be fun to fly around. It worked terribly. Any little gust of wind and it was gone. So the second day I was just flying it around for fun, and the battery doesn't last very long either. And it's so light. And it started getting a little too high, and then it got too far away, so I couldn't
maneuver it.
Yeah, you operate it with your phone too. And I couldn't get it back. Oh, no. And I got caught in this forest.
No. Goodbye.
It was like, all right, it's going to descend now. I'm like, don't descend there. It's a forest.
I can see it now. Did you ever get it back?
No, and like
gone.
that was another thing that took forever to show up. So I was like, it's been 4 months. Can I get a refund? So I got my money back, and then it showed up.
Dude, you got a good business model. Just ordering stuff, getting your money back.
Dude, there is literally businesses now where you can. My friend does it. It's like $40 a month he pays, but you order anything on this list in this club that you're a part of. Amazon delivers it. You write a review. You screenshot the review and the receipt for the shipping and the price of the item, and the company reimburses you for all of it. The club that you're part of.
You need to get in on that.
He got an air fryer. He got a keyboard. Everything.
What's an air fryer do?
The membership's like $1 million a year.
The membership's $40 a month, but there's some that are free, but they're hard to get in.
Yeah.
But pretty much, you're paying $40 a month, and you can order up to $1,500 worth of stuff and get totally reimbursed.
You travel too light to do that.
Dude,
you don't need an air fryer.
I don't need anything else. That's my thing. I don't want the garbage. And then most of the time, these people are trying to resell the stuff. Mm-hmm. So they order it, they write a review, and then they're like, queen size mattress, regular $300, selling for $100. Good luck.
It's a market, reselling things, repurposing them, and
That's why these Facebook marketplaces are booming with new products.
We should do it, but we should rent the things.
Like rent them out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can like buy a speaker and
rent it. Rent it out to people.
Yeah, the problem is storage.
Yeah, it is.
We end up filling up the school. All right, boys. Well, we're like well over an hour.
Righteous.
We should wrap it up. Yeah, good
Thank
hangs.
you for wearing my shirt, dude. Like,
thanks
not
for
just
the shirt.
that one. Like always wearing my shirt.
I have 2 of your old shirts. Now I got this one. I'm all These White Pigeons merch only.
I'm gonna get you a shirt for every day of the week.
Nice. Well, that's all I need is more shirts. I mean, I tend to wear the same shirts all the time because there's only a select few that like fit right, and yours are one of them. So
that's awesome.
Good on you. Yeah, and thanks for coming up from, where are you now? Like National La Mesa. Sweet.
By Lake Murray. You been to Lake Murray?
No.
Is that the one with the skate park next to it? No. I'm thinking of somewhere in El Cajon. Never mind.
Yeah,
Lake
maybe.
Murray.
You're thinking of Lakeside.
It's like up on a hill.
Lakeside.
It's pretty nice. Maybe
Is it a
someday
lake?
go and have a barbecue out there or something.
Yeah.
Walk around the lake.
I like walking around lakes.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
We'll do the next episode of the
that'd be
setting up gear reunion.
Yeah.
By the lake.
What song are we gonna do? Tearing down gear to again? Over my head.
Over my head, tearing down gear.
Just keep the narrative going and just cover every song we like.
Yeah, always Sum 41.
Yeah. Just keep going from the progressing through their albums.
Perfect.
All right, that's a wrap. Thank you guys. Until next time.
We're really doing it.
We really did it.
Yeah, we really did it.
We really did it.
Nice. Oh yeah, we sure did really do it. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode. Thank you, Jesse and Nick, for joining me. Big thanks to Vocalese for curing my chronic sore throats. If you want to try some Vocalese throat spray, now's your chance to get 15% off your order. Just use this reference link beside my head. I'll drop it in the description as well. Thank you again so much for checking out these podcasts. If you like what you heard or saw, wherever you're seeing or hearing this, be sure to follow, subscribe, click like, click notify, and I'll see you next week for another episode of State of My Art Podcast.